Welcome to you all. It's a great pleasure for me to have been invited to this conference for the third time now, and then moderate this roundtable discussion. It's the easiest thing to do. I have a very easy job here normally because I always have the most interesting topic to cover in the course of these discussions, and the easiest thing to talk about in Eger is Egri Bikavér, and that will be the topic of today's roundtable discussion. And Tamás already said that during his Tamás Illés in the previous presentation that there's too much noise in the world, there's too much information being transferred to and fro, and it gets more and more difficult to focus on what is important in life. And it's nice to stop and lean back a bit with a glass of wine in the hand, but we still has to phrase in some manner how our wine region is different from neighboring wine regions or other wine regions in the world. So basically you need to find your identity as a wine region. I think in Eger, no question that the identity that is rooted in Bikavér. And this Bikavér, this is a red blend, is based on the Kék-Frankos grape variety. It's a regional variety, not a world variety. And in the past 20 years, is a grape variety that gives easy to drink wines that are easy to understand. You cannot find it everywhere. It's a fairly unique variety, and there are large areas under this grape variety in this wine region, and everything is there for Bikavér to become the leading brand of this wine region that makes this wine region different from others. However, at the same time, there's a huge competition, whether in Hungary or abroad, like the Sexrad region, they also make Bikavér, or Villány, which is another red wine producing region of Hungary. And we'll talk about how much we should focus on domestic market or international markets, where the noise is even bigger. It's much more difficult to stand out there. And then we have this current trends of global climate change and generation shifts, and the change in the behavior of wine consumers. Less and less alcoholic beverages are consumed every year, and more focus on healthy lifestyle and all that kind of jazz. And there are a lot of things for Bikavér, and there are a lot of things against it. And the first question I'd like to ask to you is, to what extent does Bikavér connect winemakers together? Can Bikavér be talked about as a unified brand in the region? I try to use this mic. Okay, sorry, we have two. So what I started telling you about, and my presentation was all about that, is that we are now gathering information for a kind of a restart and a relaunch of Bikavér as a brand, and less consumer behavior is changing in the world, and we need to find a way for our leading product, and we need to set an objective, and these are issues and questions that we face every year. We need to find answers to these questions. What I can give as an answer right now is that my experience is that, having talked to the local winemakers, is that Egri Bikavér is #1 for everybody here in the whole winemaking community, and which might not have been the case like 10 to 15 years ago, and now it's much more important, and we make more Bikavér. Some growers make 3 to 4 Bikavér, and the wineries in this region that only make Bikavér blends, and this is. If you look at the market demand, we have the same experience, and that in international markets, people wanna taste something special. They're not interested in international varietal wines. They want a local, autochthonous, authentic wine, and of course, Kék-Frankos gives the basis for the blend, and that's what we need to communicate, and we don't communicate it well enough, and we don't communicate it, I think, in a concise enough manner. But this is something we can change very fast. We can correct these communication issues very fast, and I think that's how we should make a noise, and it should be a well-directed noise about Bikavér. And I think the winemaking community in Eger thinks about the role of Bikavér in a very similar fashion. I think we have a good basis here for a relaunch of the brand. When it comes to marketing, we always think of whispering marketing, but we should be a little louder, become a little louder in communicating in what we are different from others. So when it comes to branding, it's Kék Frankos, local varieties, more and more wineries, more and more wine Bikavérs being produced. But if I went through, I looked at the portfolio of many Eger wineries, is that they generally have a big portfolio. They make still a lot of different varietal wines, a lot of different blends. Every winery makes a Bikavér, but in smaller quantities at the moment. But so my question is that if Bikavér is to be put in the focus, how important do you think you think it may be necessary to clean up the portfolio and with more focus on Bikavér? I thought Attila's already said everything. He tried to anyway. I think everyone has to get through this process. The Horkay winery has gone through already. Every winery normally comes to a point. Every winery comes to a point that needs to clean up their portfolio and need to find the wines that really need to focus on. I think in the past 20 years. And in the coming, I forget, we are going in the direction of putting and bringing Bikavér in the focus. And I got a chance of in the old strategy of the wine region. And basically, we have statements in that strategy that are still valid today. And we have this relationship between the winemakers, the university, and the municipality, and I think we'll be able to make more and more beautiful, better, and more Bikavér wines of a more and more unified style. I think absolutely. The next question I'd like to ask you is: so Kék Frankos is the base. And Kék Frankos is growing in proportion in the current blends. What's the future in this respect? Some winemakers have said that Kék Frankos should dominate the blend, and that should and just 2 or 3, 4 varieties should be added, but Kék Frankos should be the very foundation of it. Do you think this can be a way to go ahead, or is it a divisive approach? Even today, I use the maximum allowable proportion of Kék Frankos in my Bikavér wines, so I can absolutely support this idea of increasing the proportion of Kék Frankos. I've talked to some other local winemakers, and I think the Eger Bikavér regulations need to be changed up a bit. They should be amended slightly. I think we should limit the number of grape varieties to 5 to 6 varieties from the current 12. And Kék Frankos needs it's a sensational good variety, because Kék Frankos can give a great wine, a grand wine, and it really goes well with international taste and really suits international taste. And I think it should be a good idea to strengthen the Kék Frankos as the base for, I think, the maximum allowable proportion of Kék Frankos is 65%. I don't know why we need limit the maximum allowable proportion. At least we should go over to 65%. So I I had when we launched our estate, we had a chance of planting the grape varieties, and the highest proportion of in my vineyards is Cape Francois. So most of my vineyards planted with Cape Francois. So I had this original idea that my Bikavér should be heavily based on Cape Francois. Of course, there should be a classification. Normally, serious regional brands have a very strong, well-regulated classification behind them. And we've been talking about this new classification for a long time. How do you think wine consumers understand the three-tier classification of Bikavér? Which level do you think that you would love to make? So let me step back into the past for a second. So in the old days, Bikavér used to be the top of the range wine. So in my winery, I like to make superior and grand superior Bikavér wines. I think that there are too many classes, 3 different categories, just too many, and I think Bikavér should be limited to superior and grand superior categories. So classicus should be pushed higher up in terms of quality, and then we could make more wine, more such wines, and this way we could reach more international markets easier. We got too many questions about how the wines differ, and unfortunately wine consumers don't understand and don't know these different tiers. So I would encourage the wine region and the leadership of the wine region to limit Bikavér to two quality categories only, not 3, and it should be the top of the range wine. You go and visit many wineries, and the top of the range wine they present to you is very often a varietal wine. And after 30 years, we now know which vineyards are best for certain grape varieties. When I wrote my Bikavér book back in the day, after from the end of the phylloxera plague up to today, Eger wine could only see growth when there was a crisis, and basically, after the phylloxera plague, Eger growers planted mostly white grape varieties in this region. 70% of the plantings were white grapes, and after the First World War, there were hardly any red grapes left here, and then people realized they couldn't make any Bikavér, so they planted red grapes again, and then they identified some of the grape varieties that were the best for Bikavér, and it's been said by one of the speakers that we like to throw the heritage of the communist system out of the window completely, but in the 1960s, that was a very great efforts being made to find markets for Bikavér wines. And this is why classification is important, because I think we went off the right trail. I think Bikavér does have a future, and we should not really think about the grape varieties what the market wants, because the past 120 years shows that what we failed to do so far in the past 120 years was building Bikavér into a real brand. And now we have the experience. We know what problems faced in the past and had to overcome in the past. And I think having known all this, we should only focus on Bikavér, nothing else. So now the big question that arises is quantity versus quality. When you want to define a brand, this is very important. It's very important how you position a certain brand. And just before the conference, we had a discussion about this, and someone said that it's a big winery, makes a cheap Bikavér, but at least there's a Bikavér that people can buy, and there's a message. There's a sort of message. Now, quantity or quality? How do you think about Bikavér? This is a key question. The first thing, we need to see what we are doing right now. Maybe we can find out what we should do if you look at Chianti and how Chianti managed this situation, because Chianti produces a lot, but high quality at the same time. Quantity is important because if we want to make the most of our production potential, if we want to make use of it, then we need to produce quantities. If you use a slogan or a leading principle that Bikavér should be outstanding in whatever quality category it is produced in, then the message to the wine producer that could be that Bikavér is certainly a good wine. If you look for wines for €3 a bottle, then if you take a Bikavér, that will be a good one. And then wine buyers who not ready to spend more money on wine than that, they can go for the Bikavér because they can rely on that kind of quality. We should separate such Bikavér from the superior category, and in terms of communication and image in general, and the premium category is always about creating the brand, helping the profile of the brand increase, and if we want to produce more superior category wines, then we have to find a wine region and follow the model of a wine region that has done this. If that's the objective, but what the good objective is, I cannot really tell you at the moment. I told you in my talk. This region is capable of producing about 25 million bottles a year, and we should try to make the most of it. Today, we produce 1/3 of our potential. It's a lot of wine, or maybe it's not a lot of wine. The market will decide on that, and the quality should be without compromise. It should be good in every segment. But when we have the qualifications and the classification, whether we should call it Classicus, the bottommost category. If you want to make Classicus category wines, little more fruits, maybe you should allow winemakers to use screw tops for that category, or use only screw tops, or use wooden chips instead of wooden barrels, and and the super category is where you need to build quality. When people come to Eger is one of the most important destination for wine tourists, and whether Hungarian or foreign visitors, which category of Bikavér? First question is, are visitors coming to Eger looking for Bikavér? And if they are, what category of Bikavér are they looking for? If we knew this, we would have been able to sell all our wine. Really, it doesn't matter where visitors come from. I think the average visitor that comes to Eger, the average tourist, like from neighboring countries, because of tradition, they just come here because they just want to enjoy themselves here, and they're not necessarily looking for Bikavér at all. I think the question should be asked differently. I think the way the question should be asked is what we want to sell those visitors. And coming back to the previous question, it should be all about quality, and we should try to sell the most wine possible at the highest price possible. I'm not talking about €100 wines, but we should try to promote the superior and grand superior wines, because those wines should actually bring tourists back to Eger, because they might not have come to Eger for wine, but if they taste a great wine here, they will come back because of the wine in the future. And of course, you need to. Of course, expectations of consumers is very important, but we have this historical background and the heritage, and I know that 20-something years ago, when I went overseas, I visited Toronto and visited a wine shop in Toronto, Canada, and I looked at what Hungarian wines they had to offer there, and I found two wines for sure. One was a dark brown Tokaj Samarodni wine. It was old school Tokaj sweet wine, and then there was this classic black and white Bikavér wine, and then I told myself, oh no, this is how Hungarian wines is judged on, based on these wines. If quality is the only way ahead, then it's a theoretical thing that 25 million bottles can be produced. We produce 1/3 of our potential. Maybe we should not produce more than 1/3 of the potential in Eger. So, and coming back to what wine buyers buy, I'm in Villány. I work with Villány winemakers very closely, and of course, visitors to Villány, they look at the whole portfolio and buy some. They do drink the low segment wines, but what they buy actually is a premium and super premium wines. That's what the people buy there. The tourists buy there generally and bring home from that region. To what extent do you think Egri Bikavér could become the biggest attraction in this region? I think many of you operate hotels or guest houses as well, or restaurants, and so if you look at premium, and let's talk about premium, and that's what you, Marcell, said. I run a very small family wineries, and I can think. And it is not my job or responsibility of representing 5,000 hectares of vineyards in the region. I'm of the opinion that for me and for players in the region that are more important than me, the leading premium wineries, I mean, it would be a good thing if we would only produce 1/3 of the potential quality. I'm of the opinion that that Egri Bikavér should be at least a delicious wine. You cannot make a high-quality, delicious wine if your yield is as high as 136 metric tons per hectare. And such wine should not be called Bikavér. 50 years ago, I was a very conscious winemaker. I'm more an intuitive, instinctive guy, I think. But I have a feeling that I have to make Bikavér. This is what I have to put on my flag, and the best wine should be my best wine should be Bikavér, and I can only think of superior and grand superior Bikavér wines. I don't think that low category Bikavér has anything to do in Eger and in the market at all. And to answer your question directly, I don't think wine buyers are prejudiced relating to Bikavér, and I think the 20 years of hard work Eger Wineries put in promoting this wine style has already brought some results, and now people never think badly of Egri Bikavér at all. And my father's first Bikavér wine became the wine of a house at a serious restaurant in Hungary. Today it's not a big deal anymore. So it's let's move on to talking about quality. If it's Egri Bikavér and it's high, it should be a high quality wine. Then the question arises whether wineries should streamline their portfolio and focus more Bikavér focus, because what I can see is that a mid-size Eger winery makes 10-15 different wines, and maybe 2 or 3 of them are Bikavér only. So in my view, the Bikavér seems to be a message in the portfolio of these wineries, but not the main message, not the leading message. And do you think we could move the wine region towards streamlining the portfolios, less varietal-wise, and more focus on Bikavér? That's a very good question, because the wines I create the blend. The varietal wines, if you come to my winery, that's where you can taste the varietal wines. Those are the blending components by Cake Farkas, my Bikavér wine, rather. So if you want to buy my wine anywhere in Hungary, you can only buy blends, red blends, 2 or 3 Bikavér wines, depending. Sometimes we cannot make 3 single vineyard wines for Grand Superior category, but what I can see is that we should really limit the number of grape varieties allowed for Bikavér. However, we've heard these different talks about the challenges of climate change, and now we can use 13 grape varieties for Bikavér, and every year we can pick 4 of these varieties, because the weather is different every year, and this may increase our resilience. And the wonderful thing about Bikavér is that you can change the style a little bit. You shouldn't be afraid of it. Just because the alcohol a little higher, the wine can still stay fruity, and it's a God-given thing that in this wine region, if you pick the right grape variety for the right vineyard site, then you can rest assured that success will be achieved. And streamlining portfolios, that's a good idea, because this way we could make Bikavér the biggest attraction, and I don't think people come to the Eger wine regions to drink Bikavér. And Attila said in his talk yesterday is that we should decide whether Bikavér should be like a pull-in wine in the portfolio of supermarkets, just to bring people in, so they buy different wine after that. And we need a real good collaboration between local wineries, from the smallest ones to the biggest ones. And Tibor Gál is a person who always said that this wine region is not 5,000 hectares, it's 20,000 hectares. And but you have to make high quality wines in 20,000 hectares, and then you will never lose quantities. That was his dream. He wanted to see this wine region grow, and unfortunately it's been getting smaller and smaller. It's not only in this region. Other regions are reducing the surface area on the vine, and the same is happening all over the world. And the consumption is decreasing as well. The soak grapes, the per capita consumption of wine in Portugal is of course very high, so it showed us very good figures there, but that's not normally the case in most other countries. And we definitely do something about this in our own ways. But it's all about irrigation, which is my field. I don't think we should wait for tourists to come up with an idea why they should come to here. But we should really make it clear that Eger is all about Bikavér, and then we have to decide whether we should go for quality or quantity. We always try to communicate quantity, but we cannot produce real quantities of wine. But we have 22 wine regions, incredible values, and very high quality wines. But in international markets, we try to sell wine in price categories where we cannot produce enough bottles in a certain quality categories. So if we wanted to focus on getting our wines to the highest quality categories in foreign markets, then it would be much easier for us. So domestic market, foreign markets, if we talk about export potentially for for Bikavér? Do you think we should only try to export the highest quality wines, the premium, super premium categories? I can only share some personal experience with you on this. What I've seen in the past few years is that international markets want Bikavér mostly. That's what we can easily communicate abroad. In Far East markets, Bikavér is the only wine we can sell, and the highest quality possible, which is true of our portfolio. Because, of course, for a Chinese wine drinker, high quality means high alcohol and an award. In an award, preferably from a French wine competitions. So they make it very clear. So that's what high quality wine means for them in the Chinese market. And for them, Bikavér is the only thing for them. It's important for them that we have a tradition here, that we stopped the spread of the Muslim aggression here centuries ago in this country, which is a good message actually to them. And otherwise, in the domestic market, unfortunately, there are Bikavér wines which are, well, suspicious a little bit. Extremely low quality wines sold at a low price. These wines really destroy the brand, and this pull-in function of these wines, they really work very well as pull-in wines. Because the easiest thing to bring a supermarket, if you offer a Egri Bikavér very cheap, and then they can sell a cheap red wine from the Great Plains easily with a higher profit margin. And in other countries, unfortunately, Hungarian wine next to a Portuguese wine has a low prestige. And if a wine buyer sees a Portuguese wine as opposed to a Hungarian wine, they will go for the Portuguese wine if they don't know anything else about these two wines, just the origin, the country of origin. And we really put a lot of effort in organizing events like this, because if we cannot elevate the profile of our wines, then we'll never be able to change this situation in these markets. It's very much in the interest of the community. So my question is that, have you already started developing some sort of action plan as to how to communicate Bikavér? Maybe 4 or 5 wineries could do a roadshow, a Bikavér roadshow, Eger Bikavér, and get the message out, because I think it's all about education again. I'm sure that last year the Eger wine region, when we went to Düsseldorf to Provine, and there were 11 superior and grand superior Bikavér wines available at a dedicated booth in Provine, at Provine. So there's definitely good collaboration between local wineries, and the situation is getting better in this respect. Coming back to the thoughts that Attila shared, that I don't want to really argue with you on this, but what I can see is that now we have a chance to change, to make a change, because now there's a generation shift, and the young people drinking less and less wine in traditional wine consuming countries like, but even in countries like Poland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. Bikavér is now losing its status as a sort of a pull-in wine, because this is a good thing, because now we can rebuild the brand. And normally wine buyers came to you, they wanted to buy your Bikavér, and then there are 30-year-old wine buyers now, and they don't know Bikavér. And these guys don't know Bikavér because their parents had been drinking Bikavér, and they didn't like those wines back in the day. And now we have a chance to put Bikavér on a higher shelf, so to say, And having visited these countries in the past few years, I can see more and more high-priced Bikavér in those markets. If you can produce a good quality, not 25 million bottles, but maybe 4 million bottles of high quality, super premium and superior and grand superior wines, then those wines can really help rebuild the brand, and we can turn Bikavér into another pulling product, but now in a good sense. So your wines mostly being sold in on trade, and the fact that your wine is of the Bikavér category, do you benefit from this fact, and the fact that you are an organic grower? It's the fact that if someone wants to buy an organic Egri Bikavér, I'm the only producer who can give it to them, and there's a clear demand for this. Apparently, whether varietal wines should have a role in Eger, I'm not leaving varietal wines behind me. So if you wanna. If you make 8 to 10 different wines for the domestic market, but I never put my Riesling or Pinot Noir on my export price list. I never tell my potential foreign buyers that of course these wines are sold easily at wine bars and restaurants in Hungary, but on the export price list I only have the Egri Bikavér and Egri Csillag, and if it's Egri Bikavér, it's on a superior and grand superior. That's where my focus is, and I think such wines are actually saleable in those markets. So, of course, my aim is to become a premium winery, and I think I feel it an obligation, and it would be very irrational on my part not to focus on Bikavér. Okay, okay. Let's go back to 2003. 22 years have passed since you created a new regulation for Bikavér. If you wanna summarize what you've achieved so far and where you want to go, what percentage of the path you have covered so far? But it's a good thing you asked me this question, because my winery may be the smallest of all, and I think we're still beginning of this long road, and I think now the winemakers really are doing a lot, making great efforts. Positioning and repositioning Bikavér in its right place. And Attila was sitting in one of the shelves and asked him this motto on New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, how it became a world success and what was their secret. And then Ferry told me that they try to communicate lifestyle and feeling. And we have a Baroque town, and it's a beautiful Baroque town. And basically, everything outside is difficult to get outside of the town, and our tourists are not so much interested in visiting the wineries, but they want to love to go out in the vineyards and see the vineyards. And I think Villa is doing an excellent job in this respect, because now you can go out in the vineyards and have a look. And now in Eger, it may be an exaggeration that you cannot reach the vineyards, because, well, we have the right quality of road to our estates, and Marcell's estate is something that's accessible to wine tourists. So there's no one in charge of maintaining the access roads in the vineyards. As Lajos Gál wrote in an article recently, that growers cannot put more money into building those and maintaining those roads. And the things we started doing, like a program 20 years ago, we failed to achieve those. And now we are trying to start following a fashion, fashion trends really now. So when someone said that Bikavér is not sexy, and then told him that let's make it sexy, so you can dress up a beautiful woman beautifully. So the answer is that Bikavér is not sexy and therefore it's difficult to sell. That's the wrong answer to our questions. You can take Chateauneuf de Pape or Brunello di Montalcino, and basically they make a single product, and they can sell those wines easily. And this is a problem that is true of most Hungarian wine regions. So we have to go back to the phylloxera plague, because up to the phylloxera plague, so Eger had been producing Padarka 98%, and every 10 years they could make a Bikavér only 5 times because that was a limited availability of Bikavér, therefore, until the phylloxera plague. There are different sizes of wineries represented here around this table now, and let's try to ask some final questions. What I can see is that if you're looking at the figures, that Eger is not only the most visited wine regions in Hungary, but statistics also show that nature, when it comes to nature and town, this is the wine regions that is the easiest to communicate. In Villány, there's no big hill in Villány, there's no lake, there's no river, not even museums, no big city there. But still the third most widely visited wine destination. So Villány, out of 22, is still the third most visited one. And coming back to let me ask you then one final question. Where would you like to see Bikavér in 10 years' time? Quantity or quality? 3 or 4 categories, 2 or 3 categories, on-trade or off-trade? Thank you for the question. I like to see increase in the quality oriented categories. It's a given that the brand Eger is more powerful. The town of Eger is a more powerful brand than the wine region itself. So if the town of Eger had a strategy, these two could complement the strategy of the wine region, and I hope we're able to channel our efforts in this direction. And looking at Bikavér in 10 years, hopefully these will come closer to each other, and hopefully the Eger brand of Eger town and the brand of Eger wine region will strengthen each other more than they do today. Egri Bikavér is everywhere else. We should not leave these positions behind. Egri Bikavér is available at supermarkets, wine shops, and restaurants equally. We should not leave these positions behind. Definitely, we should. Don't want to leave these outlets, potential outlets, behind. We should, but definitely we should push the superior category. So if someone thinks of a Bikavér, it should be a superior, a special wine, a superior category wine to which Eger is attached as an experience. Same question to you. Quality, same quality everywhere, but 2 shelves higher. So I think Egri Bikavér should still be accessible to everybody, whether people can buy it, wine or not. That in one of the supermarkets I saw a sparkling wine that had a price tag of 22,000 forints. So what I don't want to see Bikavér is the front page of a supermarket brochure amongst wines on sale. Today, there are Bikavér wines that won Best in Show awards. There are very delicious Egri Bikavérs being made. We need to increase the reputation of the wine further, and we'd love to see more wineries that think in a similar fashion. That we need dozens of such grape varieties that make Bikavér wines of this kind of category. I agree with Marcell on this. We already have Best in Show Bikavér wines, and we need increase the quality, and then we'll win more such awards. So there's a lot of cheap wine available, very, very special wines that Bikavér can be like. There's much less of such wines in the market. I would also like to think about. You asked about. You asked us about varietal wines, and I think Kék Frankos. You should, in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, you can. Grenache or Syrah can be raised as a Châteauneuf-du-Pape wine if the vintage is good enough. In Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Châteauneuf-du-Pape can be 100% Grenache, 100% Syrah. I think it will be important that Bikavér should be 100% Bikavér. And Kék Frankos, Marcell is sitting next to me, and myself. I think the market really. Will not buy Kék Frankos, but you could market. So we have 800 hectares of Kék Frankos planted in the wine region, and we should make something of it, and we should build on this. Thank you. If to sum it up very briefly, the vision is that quality, higher shelf wines. Right price category. That's the idea, both in Hungary and abroad. And more and more Best in Show awards. As you said, thanks to the fact that the Szentendre winery is Nagy Bikavér wine, yeah, right? Was voted one of the world's best 50 wines, and a year later, James Suckling, one of the best wine professionals in the world, gave a 98 points to, that was a 2018 wine that scored 98 points from James Suckling. And I wish you a lot of similar success to you all and the whole wine region, because I think the Egri wine region is one of the most important in the world, not only from the historical point of view. And I think Bikavér is the brand that, if you cannot succeed with Bikavér here, no one will succeed in this anywhere else in the world. Thank you very much for your attention for all the 2 days, and I wish you a great rest of the weekend. Thank you very much.